My name is Steve. Welcome to Shark River Machine. This video is part number 4 of my tool post tool holder build for Emma's Spare Room Machine Shop tool making competition. In this section I'm actually building the tool holders and the grand finale. I put everything together and wrap up the project. I want to thank all my subscribers, all my new subscribers, and those of you that have left your thumbs up. I really appreciate it. I've got more videos to come, some more shop projects, and some more customer projects. So please keep those thumbs up coming. I'm going to be cutting the tool holders out of this 1018 cold rolled steel. Now this is the tool holders that I'm going to be making, and in order to measure the width I took my 2 pieces of drill rod and set them inside of the dovetail, and to get the correct width I took and used parallel, and I set parallel in there just snug, just about right, and then I mic'd it with my 0 to 1 micrometer, and it mics out to 0.703. Okay, I'm going to use my edge finder. I'm going to find the edge, and then I'm going to move over to the center. Setting my 0. Okay, my edge finder is 500 thousandths, so I've got to come over 250 to be on the edge. There's 250, so I'm right centered over the edge now. Now in order to center on this piece, which is 2 inches wide, I've got to come over another inch. 4, that's another 500. So that should be centered, and I'm going to lock it. Okay, that looks right. I'm going to set up the milling cutter and we'll come right back. Okay, I set up my piece on a pair of parallels, and then since it's overhanging the vise so far, I took and put a little machinist jack under each end to support the end. Now what I'm going to do is touch down with my milling cutter. Out my Z-axis. Using a Niagara cobalt roughing end mill, I'm just going to run it through. I set it at 10 thousandths. I just want to run it the length and make sure I haven't got any problems with my setup. Go ahead and cut that slot, and I'll be back when I'm close to the end. It's a 203 on both ends. I think I'm going to leave that because as I go back and forth widening this up, it may take a little bit more off the floor there, so I'm going to leave it where it is. So right now I'm going to blue it up and make myself some lines to shoot for my final width. $8.45 on the money. Now it's time to change over to my Randy Richards dovetail cutter. Start cutting some dovetails. I'm ready to start cutting the dovetails. I just made an exaggerated picture of this. The dovetail cuts not quite as deep as the slot that I cut, and there's a 5/1000 difference between this and the top of the dovetail, and that's in the original tool holder also. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch down my dovetail cutter. The dovetail cutter is shaped like that, and I have a piece of 5/1000 shim stock that I'm going to lay in the bottom of there, and I'm going to touch down using the 5/1000 shim stock, and that'll give me the right height to run this. Okay, I've got the Randy Richards dovetail cutter set up again after opening it up with the lighter duty dovetail cutter. It worked okay, but the finish wasn't that great. I've already taken one pass with this, working absolutely perfect. I set it off the bottom again with the 5/1000 shim stock. This thing is so loud that I'm not going to try and talk over it. So I'm going to take a couple more shots of the dovetail cutter working on one of the next passes. Okay, I took my last cut with the dovetail cutter. Just going to check the size again. And that fits nice and snug, just like the tool holder did. Let's try the other side just in case. Great. Now what I need to do is I'm going to face off the end, and actually I'm going to face off both ends and then cut a 1-inch piece off of each end. I'll face the other two ends, and I can cut off another piece and keep going until I've got all my tool cutters off of the main. 1 inch. Very good. For this project, I've cut out 6 tool holders that I'm going to put 1/2 inch slots in for my 12mm and my 1/2 inch tool bits. Okay, all of them have been faced off. They're all 1 inch plus or minus 0.02, which was my goal. And now I'm going to mark them for the slots. The slots will be 1/2 inch wide, and I'm going to start out at 3/8 of an inch deep. Okay, the next dimension to be scribed on it is 687, which gives me a 1/2 inch wide slot. I'm going to mark them all. I've got the milling machine all set up with a stop. I'm going to square it up against the stop. Well, you can see that or not, but I got exactly 250 thousandths left. It's exactly what I wanted. Now that I've got all of the tool holders milled, the next thing that I've got to do is drill them for the set screws and the height adjustment screw. Okay, that looks right. Now that I have all the tool holders scribed, I'm going to use a prick punch and mark them out. And I'm going to use a center punch. And I'm spot drilling them with an 1/8 inch starter drill. Now I need to drill them through with a number 21 drill, which is the tap drill size for the 1032 threads. The final operation is to tap them for the 1032 threads. I'm using some anchor lube just for safety's sake. I've already tried one of these. I'm power tapping them with a light duty cordless drill. This blind hole, I'm starting with this and then finishing it off by hand with a bottoming tap, and clean it up. Ready to completely deburr and blacken them for the final assembly. Doing the final assembly on the tool holders. They get 1032 set screws put into to hold the tool bit. Okay, then I have a 1032 by 1.25 inch for the stud for the height adjustment, and I'm setting them in with red Loctite to drop. Couple of parts that I'm not making on these are the brass thumb screws that I'm using for the height adjusters, and I'm using a wing nut for the lock nut on it. The first part of the build was the T-nut, and I put a 5/16 stud. It's a grade 8 all thread stud on it. The next part of the build is the tool post itself. We cut the dovetails with the Randy Richards dovetail cutter, and it was bored out. I've made a spacer, which is sort of unique to the Atlas lathe because of the way the the compound is made. The next piece was the eccentric, which operates the pistons that hold the tool holders tight. Then made the pivot pin, has a shoulder on it that sets down in the base of the tool holder. And a grade 8 nut to hold the whole thing together. Operates the pistons, the eccentric pushes them out. Then we have the tool holders which slide on there. I've got the height adjustment set, and they lock in place. I took and made a new actuation lever out of a piece of 5/16 drill rod, and I turned the knob out of a piece of brass, and that's actually just bored, reamed, and it's Loctited on. So I made a total of 6 tool holders, and they also fit on the front. That one's for the boring bar. It locks it in place. Well, this wraps up my tool bill for Emma's tool making contest. It's been a great project, and I've really enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed the videos as much as I have enjoyed making them. Please give me a thumbs up, don't be afraid to comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.